ready?
Yeah.
You need any beverage, anything to drink?
What are you drinking?
Water.
Can I have water too? You can always count on my love forevermore. Love you, need you, darling. I love you, I do. You can always count on my love forever. That was actually the right note. Good job. Do you?
I know.
Do you? Do you?
I know.
You actually hit the good job. I
do
see you
what I
over here
can.
practicing and shit.
What's up, family?
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode of the Sitdown Talk.
So what are we gonna call this thing?
I don't know. Because I used to put
Sit-down
the little
talk?
logo in the corner. I don't even do it no more.
We don't know what this is gonna be.
We need to figure out a name.
Yeah.
I don't
like,
know.
Is the sit down, like, is it corny? Like, just.
I don't
like,
like. I don't love the name. I just like. Alright.
But
look.
do y'all like it? Like, are
family
y'all looking
name.
at us like that's a stupid name?
Nah.
If you are, just let me know. But don't just let me know. Let me know and give me a suggestion. Okay, be helpful.
Nah, that's real. We cannot call it anything because this is like the anti-vlog, right? It's a show, but it's not.
Yeah, but it's like real. Like we talk about love, but like the real love.
We get down to it. It's not a show. It's not scripted. It's not produced. So I don't know if the sit down should have a name. Maybe y'all should decide. Tell us in the comments below whether or not we should call our sit down talks, or whether we should have a funny name for them or whatever.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back.
up?
Clap it up for yourself for getting back here. Yes. You know what I noticed? Every time we do the claps, like your face is always like, why is he doing this? It's like, this is so stupid.
But I enjoyed it today. I was smiling.
Nah,
I
you was
smiling.
shocked.
I'm in a really good mood.
I'm actually in a mood for this sit down talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to get down to business.
We started talking about it a little bit, and I feel like we just got in that vibe. Like,
Yeah, we always do that like right before the camera comes on. It's like, oh wait, let me turn it on so I can catch some of this. Thank y'all for everything that y'all kind of gave back to us from that last sit down talk. We did not expect that at all. Like at all. That ain't even what we came to talk about.
We didn't even answer the questions that we said we were gonna answer.
They got on us for that too in the
God.
comments.
Oh my
You
God.
never gave your list, sis.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for that because we actually gonna answer some of those questions now.
Hopefully.
This ain't about to be an hour sit down. I know y'all love them, man, but they hard to edit and they take like all day to upload. That's why they always late because YouTube, it don't like files that big. It's just a lot of nerd talk short. Like we gonna let's compromise. Let's keep it around 30 minutes.
Yeah, I have a suggestion.
What's up?
We're gonna keep it like 30-ish minutes, and if we don't cover something that you want us to talk about, actually drop the question in the comments, and then we'll try to get to it in the future.
I like the whole exchange format when it's like y'all asking questions and we answering.
Yeah.
We see them sometimes. Oh wow. Noémie's getting brand partnerships like out of the yang. It's crazy. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, baby.
Like you really making a lane for yourself. Man, let's give it up for Noémie. Making a lane for herself.
I'm trying, guys. I'm finding a lane that works for me and that feels authentic and feels like I can keep it up. And then I'm finding methods and ways to create content within that lane where I feel comfortable. So I feel like I'm in a really good place. I'm getting closer and closer to what I think I want to do.
You're like the anti-content creator
Oh my God. I
know.
I hear people like, oh, you're an influencer. And it's like, am I?
This isn't a life that I think you would have envisioned for yourself. But
I envisioned it for you, and I was gonna be your manager behind it. Like that's what I saw when we got serious. It's like you're gonna be like the front person, and I'm gonna be the person in the back. I've always wanted to be
how
that person.
dope is it that people saw
It's
more
so
in
dope.
you?
It's so dope, and that's why I want to take it seriously. I don't wanna put out trash. Like I literally like put out my whole life to you guys on YouTube, like,
which is uncharacteristic of you.
Completely. Especially, I don't even know you. I will definitely give somebody my whole life story if there's a vibe when we meet. But like, I will also not say anything about myself to people if it's no vibe, you know?
That is super fast. You're actually probably one of the most secretive people I've ever met in my life.
You think I'm secretive?
Oh yeah. Not secretive and like, secretive has a negative connotation.
Yeah, I was like, what
not
you
like
mean?
you're withholding information, just like it takes a lot for you to feel
open
comfortable
up.
enough to open up.
For sure. What makes it easy is like I'm not actually looking at 30,000 people watching the video.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a camera and I'm with someone who makes me comfortable.
Yeah.
Like you are definitely like a safety net in some way. Cause you just help loosen me up and I don't know, you remind me that I'm dope and it makes me feel dope.
Well, that's what's up,
Yeah.
man. I'm glad I can do it too.
I thought I didn't mean for me to have that moment.
I appreciate it. I didn't see that coming.
I didn't
Thank
either.
you.
It just kind of came out.
It's
and
late.
I feel silly.
Yeah. No, you express yourself beautifully. It's late, y'all. Like, it's been a long day. I took Emery to a birthday party earlier today.
A princess birthday
party. I had her solo all day. Noémie.
I've been gone. Bachelorette weekend.
It's almost 11 o'clock. And we got up this morning at what, 7?
Yeah. No, we actually got up around 8. We slept in a little bit.
That's right, people without children. 8 o'clock is sleeping in.
Yeah, we normally wake up at 6 every day.
That's a sad fact.
It's every single day. Because the queen is awake.
Boss lady.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Y'all asked some questions that we definitely want to answer from the How Did I Know That Noémie Was the One video. If this is your first time here, then I strongly suggest that you watch the last video before you watch this one, because you're not going to have any idea what we're talking about. And I want you to have some context. You know what I'm saying?
You want to do this girl's question because it was just organized really well?
Yeah.
This is from Natasha Peoples. Like, I just love the way you set that up. Like, question for Noémie, question for Kier, and then question for both of us, and then thanking us. Like, it was just a very nice comment that stood out.
Well, go ahead, Natasha Peoples.
I saw it when you commented the first time, but I remembered it when we were looking for questions to answer for the part 2 of the video, and I don't know. I think I like you, Natasha. I like the way you roll.
I don't care what them people say about you. It ain't true. Question for Noémie. How were you able to continue dating a guy that was anti-marriage? And her question for me is, what made me realize that even though I'm anti-marriage, I wanted to get married? Oh, man.
Yeah, I know.
With the layers,
I know,
Natasha.
right?
Come on. And then she has one posed to both of us, Kier and Noémie. Would love to hear both perspectives on this statement made in the video, holding a single dude to a married dude standard. Thank you for explaining the proper way to use the silent treatment, and that it is okay. All right, Natasha, we got you, boo. We about to answer all these questions. All right, so first, the question for Noémie is, how are you able to continue dating a guy that was anti-marriage?
The simple answer is that I didn't date him to marry. That wasn't a question in my mind. I don't think I dated anybody with the intention to marry them. I dated them to get to know them. It's just, it's deeper than that. Speak
your heart, queen.
Yeah, I just wanted to get to know him. Like, honestly, like I had gotten out of a relationship a few years prior, and I wasn't in a rush to be in another serious relationship. I really wanted to have fun, and for some reason, I knew that I really wanted to have like dating relationships that were just fun. And like the more that I think about it, the more that I realize that's something that my mom used to tell me my whole life. Like my dad was the first person that my mom had ever dated, and she had only been with him and only him for like 30 years before they got divorced. And one thing that she used to tell me all the time, especially when I was a teenager, like, just date. Like, the only way you'll know what you like and what you don't like is after you get to know people. And then in the process, you'll get to know more about yourself.
That's great advice.
Yeah, my mom said, and she literally told me like all the time, but things don't always connect. Mm-hmm. So that's why I've been thinking about that a lot, because, That is a question, and I get this question a lot from women in my personal DMs, where it's just like, my boyfriend, you know, doesn't want to get married, and I do. Like, should I break up with him because he doesn't want to get married? Or, you know, should I give him an ultimatum? The really like short answer for that is like, it depends on how you built. You know what I mean? And I feel like we had those questions when we were, right before we got engaged. There were moments where I I really want to get married, and there were moments where, like, especially right before we got engaged,
for you or for
me?
Okay.
For me, where it's ironic, like, I had finally gotten to a place where, like, I love him, the person, and it's not that he doesn't want to get married or marry me because of me. He doesn't want to get married because of his belief in the institution of marriage. What I really want is that commitment. He's willing to give me that commitment. And if we can make that work, then I can be okay with not getting married. Like, I would definitely have been sad about that, but like, I had gotten to a place where like, you mattered more than what I thought that was.
This is what I was afraid of if we took these questions. This is gonna be a damn hour episode.
Yeah.
Because you have to explain that. There's a few things that you have to explain. First off, when you said you gotta make sure that you built that way, like, what you mean by that?
Are you the type of person in this particular situation where you're okay with not being married? Some people will say that they're okay with things hoping that they change. Like, if I'm saying I'm okay with things...
you preaching right now. I gotta put the leg up, because you cooking. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, if I'm gonna say I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it for what it looks like at that moment.
Yeah.
And like, I think one thing that really frustrates me, and I haven't always been this way, and it frustrated me when I was that type of person, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just say okay, but like, no, we're just gonna get married anyway. Like, I used to be that person. And when the thing that you wanted to happen never happens, that's worse than it never happening to begin with. Like, that's just the worst, because you start to deceive and trick yourself into thinking that you can control this outcome. There's a whole separate human being that is going through emotions and has made their decision about what they want to do about this.
I can see how that frustration can be compounded if you've like manifested this person.
Oh Lord.
You know what I'm saying?
We just gonna answer these 3 questions for the whole video, because like we might not even get to the second one.
I knew this was
Go ahead,
happen.
Kier. Go ahead.
All right,
preach.
so we're not gonna go down that lane. This is why the sit down is tough, because we need to go across the country and do these live.
Oh, that would
because we gotta have this gotta be a conversation. You said that you would have been okay with not getting married. Yeah. Well, you really believe that in your heart of hearts?
Yes, only because you know how you're like, you only got married because of me? I only felt that way because of you. Like, it was because of who you were. Nobody else. I would never.
You would never get married if it weren't.
Baby,
to me.
I just don't think you understand like how much I love you.
I do. This is the way.
So this is what I'm gonna say. I'm not happy about that decision. I'm mad because there's nothing I can, like, that's how strongly I feel. I'm like, dang, like, I'm willing to do this. Like, I don't want to feel that way, but that's how I feel about you.
You do understand that's rough. I believe it because you said it.
Yeah.
But you understand how that's rough for me to believe, because you've already had, like, to me, you came with this idea of like marriage and family.
With you?
Period. Before.
I feel like that you need to distinguish that, because I didn't come into the relationship marriage with you. Yeah,
no,
but I did want to be married eventually.
That's facts, and I'll stamp the fact that when she came in, she was really on some like, hey, I'm just trying to be friends with benefits, like nothing else. Mm-hmm. She kept that energy probably for longer.
What you about to say?
I was gonna say, nah, not longer than.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Nah, I was gonna say longer than anybody I dated.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kept that energy long. You kept that energy until you didn't.
Right. Yeah. Because I didn't anymore.
But there's some women who come into the relationship with the, hey, let's be friends with benefits,
and
energy,
hope it turns into something
else, and then like frustration be on a million when it doesn't.
Yeah. I've been in those shoes before.
Where you were the person who wanted more?
Yeah.
For real? Mm-hmm. And the other person was like, nah, just on some FWB stuff?
No, well, I ended the relationship.
See,
like,
you're a savage. I can't talk to you about
I mean, but
these
how is it
things.
that like you can get what you want and I can't? Like, if I don't like the situation, why would I stay?
Oh, you know my motto. If I don't rock with the vibes, I'm a dip. Yeah,
the vibe's not right.
Yeah.
I mean, so I could be crying at night about somebody who don't
belong to me.
Yeah.
No, hold on. I'm sorry. That sounds like we're mocking people who
That's
feel
true.
that
That's
way,
not.
and that's not
Yeah.
what we're doing. It's just that's such a ludicrous concept for the way that we think that it's just funny to think about us doing that.
Yeah.
Not undermining anybody who feels that way.
When I met you, I was like, I'm done crying over boys.
Oh,
like,
Lord Jesus.
I'm serious.
You was
like,
crying over boys?
Yeah, I went through like, I'm telling you, when I was 16, I went through my first heartbreak and just singing all of those like You Broke My Heart R&B songs from the early 2000s. It's like, that was my life. I was such like a love-struck girl. And I'm like, I just didn't understand why like I didn't have the fairy tale. It did not make sense to me.
It all comes
Yeah.
together. You put it together well in your adulthood because you...
I mean, you know what? That's
You put it together
the
well.
last
I'm
time
gonna
I
give you
had
your
my
credit.
heart broken was like, I told myself like, this gonna be the last time.
Yo.
And I went so hard after that.
You're further ahead. It's just weird because I feel like you leaned on me for the marriage thing. Like,
yeah, I did, but I also feel like, remember how you were like, sometimes you just say how you feel in the moment? I feel like at the first time you said something in the moment, it kick-started. Like, oh, like, what is this? When you would talk about like the love stuff and like how you want to be, I know you don't remember any of this.
nah, I'm trying
But you had moments where like, you'd be like, yo, like, I want to be with you. Like, I don't know what that looks like or when that looks like, but I want to be with you. And you would say those things, but it would just be how you feel in the moment. It didn't mean like, let's make things official and move forward. Because anytime I would come to you, you'd be like, yeah, that's how I felt like then, but I'm not saying I'm ready for the next step now. As little girls, we're raised to find Prince Charming, and he's gonna tell you that he loves you and he wants to be with you and whisk you away to happily ever after land, right? Mm-hmm. And the way that it works is guy meets girl. They start dating. Guy says, I love you. I want to be with you forever. Happily ever after, the end.
Jesus Christ.
And like, you're looking at it, and like, even though you're not being judgmental, I just think it's human nature to be judgmental because the situation seems outlandish to you. And I'm telling you, like, that's what we're spoon-fed our entire lives.
I'm coming to
so you're
realize
like,
that
why would you think when I said I loved you and I wanted to be with you in the future that I actually wanted to marry? I'm like, because that equates marriage. Like, 1 + 1 = 2. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That leaves a lot of room for misunderstanding.
Absolutely.
That leaves a
So
lot
like,
of room.
honest to God, like, you had just been like real, like, talking about future-y stuff, and I hadn't really thought about it until you mentioned it. And once you mentioned it, even in passing, it's like a light bulb went in my head. I'm like, can I be with him in the future? Do I really like him? Do I see us getting married? Is this gonna be serious? Like, and that's how, like, something that was so minuscule to you sparked like a series of questions.
The way that it came across in the moment wasn't like, do I want to get married? Do I want to have kids? It's like, I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to do these things in the future. And
to me, it's the same thing. It's like, I want to do all these things, and I think I want to do it with you. Like, these are things that I wanted to do anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, I meet you, I'm like, I think we can do that.
Man, I feel you with the energy. That wasn't what I was getting in the moment. What I was getting in the moment is like, we got this baby. And we had this
you
relationship.
have to clarify what moment meant. I thought you were talking about pre-Emery.
Are you talking about when we first met?
I don't know. There's 3 relationships in our relationship.
Oh, we had that talk. How many relationships are in our relationship? Or when we view our relationship as like really starting.
Yeah.
And she views our relationship as starting
from when we met.
When we met, I view our relationship as starting when we had when we got pregnant.
Because it was a different level to our relationship. Like, to me, it's all the same. It's like, that's point A, and we're continuing on the story. Like, for him, it's like level 1. Boom. Level 2. Boom. Level 3.
8,000.
Yeah, so this is like chapter 1 and level like 3 in our relationship. And I never separated into levels. I would love to have that perspective, but I don't know how to rewire my brain and do that. Like, I think with time it will. Like, if we're married for 10 years, I'm not gonna think our relationship was from when we met. I might think it's from when we got married.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just.
I hope it works that way.
I feel like the way that my mind works, that's what it's gonna be. But like, it hasn't even been a year yet. So like,
I know.
I'm learning to look at the beginning of our relationship honestly as like COVID.
Huh?
Like March.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were looking at it like COVID,
like literally
like
March. No, I feel like March, like we leveled up on some, like just circumstances in life changed and we had to adapt and adjust quickly. And it showed what we thought we kind of had on lock that actually wasn't. And then it allowed us to sharpen those tools, because I think as a dating couple and as an engaged couple, we were good. As a married couple, we got some work to do. And I think like that shit kicked me in the ass. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know nothing. And like who I have to be from this point forward is very different than who I was. Like who I am for him, how I have to advocate for myself. Now we got a little mini us like running around. Like it's just, I had to grow up, man. And I feel like March was, COVID was the catalyst for me like leveling up in my marriage, for sure. And I'm still working on it.
I actually don't feel that way at all.
And I don't think we're always gonna be in that. Yeah. You know, that's the joy of like being in a relationship with a whole other person. It's like you get to see a different perspective.
You know what else I don't think we'll ever do?
What?
Answer this woman's question.
How did I do it? How did I continue with a relationship knowing that he didn't want to be married? If we're talking about from the beginning of our relationship, I didn't care to be married. I'm not gonna say I didn't care to be married, but like marriage wasn't even on the table. Like I was just like, he's cute and he's fun.
I'm going to enjoy him in the moment.
It was like I didn't even know if I would still be in DC. Like I was planning on moving to New York. It was just like
that's true. I forgot about that.
It was just like fun, and you know, my life sucks because I'm in law school thing. Once we had E, it was really tough because that's when the pressure came. Pressure from my family, the pressure from his family, the pressure from our friends, like, you know, kind of like feeling like life is happening and I don't have any control over it. Like unplanned pregnancy with my boyfriend, like that's not the way I wanted to do it. Like, do I want to get married because I want to get married? Do I want to get married because, you know, it was just a lot of questions. It was just a lot of questions that I didn't have the answers for. So it was difficult, but I will say, like, right before we got engaged, like I knew I wanted to be with him and I knew I wanted to like do this. I knew I wouldn't find anybody that I would want to be with the way that I wanted to be with him. I was convinced that you were, you know what I mean? I was like, I'd rather be with you under whatever title, you know, we be, because like you gave me everything that I would look for in a husband. You know, that constant, and it wasn't even like I'm just so obsessed with him, but like he's working. He's willing to work on how to be a better partner to me every day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like that part is one-sided.
I wonder what, I feel the same way. But, like, I wonder what people do when they don't have partners who give them that. Because
everyone doesn't get that.
But some people really desire it. And what I see a lot is people bridge that gap between what they want to have and what's actually there, with distortions and kind of like false narratives that you feed yourself and
to make you okay with that.
Yeah, belittling things that are really a big deal and normalizing things that are problematic and troublesome. Like just putting it on your radar.
Yeah, and I think I have to be careful. Like I'm only speaking from my experience in my relationship with Kier. You know, like I just feel like
you speaking your narrative.
Yeah, I'm speaking my narrative, but I don't want people to think that this is like a copy and paste into my life. Things are gonna come out that way. So let me just clarify, like, I'm not saying you do the things that we did and you're gonna have what we have. I'm just telling you like what my journey was to kind of figure out how we get to this and what we're doing to maintain it.
All right, so question for me is what made me realize, even though I'm anti-marriage, that I wanted to get married. So Noémie articulates her like thoughts and emotions very well in that area, and I feel like people will be like, okay. I don't feel like my answer is going to satisfy many people. So there's a comedian named Gerard Carmichael who had this comedy special, and in the comedy special he had a joke about men getting married, and he said, do you know what the last thing a man says before he decides to propose? It. And
he tells the story all the time.
Yeah, because there's a lot of truth to it. His rationale is like, oh, we already got the baby, we already gotta get the apartment, all the stuff is already together, you know, might as well.
Why that voice?
Because that's just like that's like a stupid dude voice. That was true for me. It was like we already got a lot of the we already here.
Yeah.
But it was really tough because I think maybe 2 months before I even decided like, all right, I'm gonna buy the ring, I'm gonna go on this, I'm gonna do this. We were at the mall, we were actually at a restaurant. We had just had a tough day. We weren't seeing eye to eye, like it was bad.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I was like, why do we have to get married? And, you know, she explained like some of the cultural reasons for her, some of the reasons, you know, stability-based reasons. Yeah, and it was a lot of pressure on her, which in turn put a lot of pressure on me. The things that I love about you, like if I were to end our relationship, like realistically, you know, love to me is like practicality. Like if
not now.
Even now, still, it's about it's more emo, but it's more.
Your response was to how you felt then, not how you feel now.
Right. Well,
you can't compare me to nobody else.
I mean, that's true. Of course, of course. I just felt like if I were to get into another relationship, if I were to seek somebody else, like I spend the rest of our relationship comparing her to you, and that wouldn't be fair for anybody involved. And like to me, the way I mean, the biggest question I asked myself was, within 3 years, am I gonna see anything that's gonna move me more towards being sure about being married to her, or like being sure about like proposing to her? If I waited 3 years just to gather enough evidence to feel like I got enough to be sure about this, which is important, I ain't gonna downplay that, but like in 3 years time, will I see anything that's going to be vastly different from what I see now that makes me sure? And the answer was nah. Like I felt like we were on a good trajectory. I felt like we vibed in all the ways that made sense. I felt like all the ways that made sense. We had good sexual chemistry. We had good communication. We had good physical chemistry. We religiously, we don't really see things the same exact way, but we have a lot of respect for how the other person sees God. Like we had the same, like we were in the same vein for how we wanted to raise Boob. Like everything just kind of, where we disagreed just didn't seem like that big of a deal. And I saw enough flexibility to make me feel like we can continue on that pattern.
So someone else asked a question that I think kind of goes well, was like, I had the more. You know what I mean? Like I had love plus more.
The more.
What's the more with me?
I keep asking myself that. It's the little things in your personality. Like you're one of the least like self-conscious women I know. Just in terms of letting that drag down your self-esteem. You don't really have that. You don't really play games. Like you don't.
You hate that about me too.
What, that you don't play games?
That I'm super confident.
Oh, I hate that you're super confident?
It said almost to a fault.
Why would I hate that you're super confident?
I don't know. Because like I said something about like me being like super confident and really forgiving of myself. And you were like,
oh, you're forgiving of yourself almost to a fault. Yeah, nah, you're not confident to a fault. Okay. I love that about you.
Really?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about you. I don't have to remind you that I love you so that you can love yourself.
Oh, no.
That's not, that's a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. You just don't, you can't read that. You're just not that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just not that person.
That's my mom's. Yeah, that's all my
That's your mom's doing.
Yeah.
Equals.
I know. Hi, mommy.
I wasn't leaving this situation.
Yeah.
I didn't see myself exiting anytime soon. So, like, why not? And it solidified the family. It gave you the reassurance you needed, because at the time, even though I know you say like you could have been fine without marriage, at the time you weren't sure whether I would stick around. You didn't really have that reassurance at the time. So it gave you that. It gave stability. You know what I'm saying? it made sense. It meant a lot to you.
So you did it for me?
I did it for us. That meant more to you that way. You being with me long term and you feeling like everything is secure and you feeling like we got a good platform to bounce off of, that meant more to me.
Yeah.
So it's like a means to an end for me. Like you being married versus being my girl, like I figured, like I'm here now, so I know the difference. It feels different in a lot of ways, but in many of the day-to-day ways, it's the same feeling. It's no different.
Yeah.
So I could have had it either way,
I
but
feel it's completely different from you. I don't feel like it's anything. I don't think anything is the same.
I know.
And that's so strange. How do
know.
we have such different like experiences, different, I guess, perspectives of the same exact experience?
Cause man, we two different people.
But it's
we see
so
life
different.
Yeah.
It's you literally think nothing changed. Like we got married and if that was just a day and like nothing changed. I think everything changed.
I wouldn't say nothing changed, but just the day-to-day of it, like just what it looks like if you were to sit right here and watch it go through our lives.
I agree. I'm not even talking about the day-to-day. I'm talking about like how we handle conflict and how we communicate and like the stakes in the relationship. Like the fact that we are married, I've had to change my entire perspective of our relationship. It's not like a defense to offense switch. It's more like when we were together before we got married, I was defending my heart. I was protecting my heart. And I feel like now that we're married, it's like us against the world. Like I'm protecting us. Like I'm not okay if you're not okay. Like I'm not okay if our unit isn't okay. Like we are a unit as opposed to me just worrying about myself and my, safety and my mental health and stuff like that. Like I have to worry about yours. Like it has to be a priority.
I felt like that before we got married.
I felt like I was not doing you a favor, but I felt like it was something nice to do, but nothing that I was obligated to do. Like I did it because I felt like it, it felt good to do it. But like, because it felt good to do it, I am now committed to doing it. And that's where I see the difference.
So you, in your mind, we leveled up like that because we got married?
Yeah.
In my mind,
you're not entitled to that if you're not married.
In my mind, we leveled up like that because you started acting more like, okay, well, let me be more proactive. And I'm like, oh, she really, you switched it up. So I want to give more effort because it looks like you're really, really trying.
Yeah.
It's not because we got married. It's because I see you trying and it makes me want to reciprocate that.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm not a freeloader.
It's just perspective. It's just a different perspective.
I don't like love freeloaders, man. People who just want to like get as much as they can, and when it's time to give a little bit, it's a chore.
I didn't give as much like in past relationships. Not like it wasn't even because of them, but because I didn't feel like I had to. In a relationship, I don't have to do that. Like we're not married.
That's funny. If you were a man, especially a black man,
I'd be a horrible
that said that.
No,
that just said that would be so unacceptable.
Yeah, that's problematic. Like I don't know if how I feel is what's problematic, or the fact that men aren't allowed to feel that way is problematic.
I'm weird about the aren't allowed because no one stops you from doing anything.
Well, I'm just saying like stereotypes. Like if a guy were to say that, they would be deemed an asshole. And I'm just like, is it really an asshole trait? Because if it is, then that means I am also an asshole.
No,
or is it a human? But it's also the way that I was raised. Like I was raised, and I know this is gonna sound so corny, but like I am a gift to someone. Like I was raised like that.
I think a lot of women are raised.
Yeah, like I'm the gift. so I'm not gonna give you everything until I have the commitment. Like, and if I choose to do that before we're committed, it's because it's my choice, not because that there's an expectation there. Like I feel like it today, but I'm not obligated to do it.
Fair. You do realize that if a guy knows that in order to get all of that, as you say, there has to be a level of commitment, and he's not there, he's gonna lie his way, right, and pretend his way there.
And when I find out, I'm gone. I want people to give me themselves, who they are, who they are authentically, and let me have the decision of let me choose whether I want you to be in my life or not. Where I get upset is when people paint a certain narrative of who they are, and then I find out later that that's not true. Like I'm never gonna speak to you again. I'm never gonna trust you. And that goes for men, but also friends. Like that goes from anybody. Like once I see that like you're not at all who you presented to be, like I can't, it's not gonna work.
That's another difference between you and a lot of people. I think like you find that to be a very normal thing. People don't
to
do
be
that.
Themselves. Yeah.
Well, no, not that, but just like if you show me something different, I'm gone. You're like a tripwire. It's so sensitive. I've never met anybody whose tripwire for that is that sensitive. There are people who will take the same shit from people over and over and over and over and over again. They will lose themselves, all identity, all self-worth, everything, have to crawl out of that situation. You would never be there because your mind just, you'd be gone. You'd bounce. At the first time the dude raised his voice, you'd be like, you know what?
This ain't working.
This ain't gonna work, dog. Like,
but I don't feel like that's a good quality. Like even when you say people take that behavior over and over and over again, I don't look at it that way. I look at it as people being willing to give second chances and people willing to give grace onto others. Like I look at the way that I handle those things as problematic. And I look at the way that other people handle it as more graceful.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I feel like I don't feel like there's anything wrong with taking out the trash while a quarter of the bag is still, like, it's only a quarter of the bag full. You know how people wait until the bag is completely full? No, if it's trash in the bag and you don't want it, if it stink, take it out. Like, I don't understand that. How much evidence do you need to cut off a relationship that you see is not going to work? People have different thresholds.
Yeah.
Some people have a threshold that's this big. Some people have a threshold that's 4,000 feet tall, and it takes a lot to fill that. So, your threshold is small, and that's why you haven't encountered some of the issues that I think a lot of people talk to you have that you don't really,
I can't relate.
You can't relate to them. We thought we was gonna answer a lot of questions. I think we just gonna answer her question because it's kind of deep, but we want to keep this going.
We still have one left.
Oh, we still got one left? Yeah, we just gonna keep going. Like, keep asking us questions, we'll answer them.
Yeah, for
in these little surprise pop-up vlogs.
Yeah, just go ahead and ask them in the comments, and we'll just check the comments before we do the next sit-down vlog. What are our perspectives on the statement that we made in the last sit-down vlog where we said holding a single dude to a married dude standard?
Okay, I'm gonna try to be as concise with this as I possibly can. Anybody who's out there who's a single mom, let's say you have you're single mom who's dating right now or trying to date, and you have a kid that's younger than 10, and you're dating a guy who is, let's say, 30 plus years old. He doesn't have any kids. His biggest responsibility is his monthly rent and his car note. He especially if you were like married or in a really long-term relationship before, you're going to move with a different sense of urgency. Your idea of getting stuff done, and you don't have a lot of time. Like, your clock moves a lot differently than his. If you tell him, hey, I need you to be somewhere at 7:30, and he shows up at 8:30, it's a bigger issue because now you got to rearrange like 8, 9 other parts of your life on the back end that he can't even begin to comprehend. The same way he moves within his world at one speed, and when it collides with yours, it don't make no sense. That's kind of the same energy that's there when we talk about like a boyfriend versus like a husband mentality. There's a lot of guys that get on, ooh, all right, might get killed for this. We here now. There's just a lot of men that get up and talk in front of cameras, and they talk about men, and they talk about dating, they talk about what a woman should need in a man and what they should look for in characteristics. And I think all of that is just complete garbage. That's not how any of this works. Like, there's people think that a dude is so sure, like a man is supposed to be this sure, complete being, and you know, your husband's supposed to be this complete sure being, and your boyfriend is this boy who's trying to figure it out and is centered on what he wants to do with you. Like, manhood is complicated. It's complicated around the woman that you're with. She's a part of a complicated puzzle, but when you're talking about her, it kind of has to be she's the universe. So it's it's a wild differential. But I'll say this, like, a boyfriend is a guy who's dating you because he likes you. He probably enjoys spending time eating food, telling jokes, and having sex with you. A husband is completely different. You owe somebody your time, your attention, your commitment a different way. I went from hating that idea of marriage, to kind of entertaining it, to 2 months before I even bought a ring to propose to you, I'm in a restaurant pounding my fist, upset because I don't understand why we have to get married. I don't understand the concept. I went from that to smiling like a big idiot in all of my wedding photos and all of the videos, because that smile, I mean, that's the big, dumb, stupid, I'm happy smile. But that's where I was with it. And that transformation, people see pictures and think it happens like that. Like, that's a transformative change for a man like none other.
Yeah, it didn't happen in 2 months.
Oh
it
my
happened
God.
throughout the course of our relationship.
But then we had things in our relationship that kind of pushed that. It put it at hyper speed.
Exactly.
And not every relationship can survive that hyper speed.
And let me explain what that hyper speed is. It's the baby. It's the baby. I feel like having a baby puts all of your shit in front of you, and that's when you like, yeah, okay, let's do this, or like, nah, like, not gonna happen. At least in our
having a baby
case.
is the ultimate group project.
Oh my God, it is you learn everything about your partner.
And you get an F.
Everything.
So
Michelle Obama talked about this in her podcast, and she's like, having a kid, you'll see how true the division of labor is.
Facts.
Like,
facts.
we were playing
Facts.
50-50 before
facts.
we had
Facts.
It depends on the day now.
It
could be 80-20. It could be 100.
It could be 100 nothing.
Yeah, it depends.
What you
on
gonna
the
do
day.
when it's a whole week and it's 100 nothing?
Yeah.
You know what?
You can't tap out. You can't tap out. You're gonna have to get that energy from somewhere, and your partner may not be in a space to help you because they're going through their own stuff in that moment.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's just the collective versus the individual. Like, it's a different universe. I just want people to wrap their minds around. And like, I know people want this, like, how did you know Noémie was the one? It's like, we took the options off the table, and like the stuff that was left, I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah, literally, like
I can do that.
What's the pro? What's the con?
I can do that.
So you said something in the last video about like girls being lied to about love. What I've learned, at least in our relationship and our marriage so far, is that love is not the fairy tale. Like, love is the risk. Love is jumping out of a building and hoping that the parachute opens up and you land safely.
Love is jumping out of the building, and 2 seconds later someone throws your parachute out of the building, and you hope that y'all meet mid-air so you can buckle up and hit that joint in time, not to go splat.
Yep.
What's the splat? What's the splat?
I think it's different for everybody. It depends on what failure looks like to you. You know what I mean? Like, the splat is the failure, and failure looks different. Like, to me, failure isn't like divorce. Failure is being unhappy in our marriage and like settling in that unhappiness.
To me, failure is completely quitting. Like, I don't want to work on this no more.
I feel like it's so easy to be like, you know what? I don't want to do. That's so easy.
Nah, not for me.
Oh yeah, I just feel like it's so easy to be like,
took me too much to get
here. I feel like for me, the hard part is the work. Like, this is the hardest I've ever worked in our relationship.
This is hard
because
I've
it's
ever
been
worked in my
catered to
life.
me. The relationship's catered to me before we get married.
That's another reason y'all. That's the way that y'all are lied to. That feel is so unfair to women. Like, the relationship is very woman centered, and it's
so I want to go back to dating. I want to go back sometimes.
Everybody wanted everyone wants like a man that's emotionally aware until he starts explaining to you like why you are ruining his life and you don't even mean to.
I hear so much about myself unexpected. It's like, whoa, I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared.
Like, sorry fam, I
promise you, it's really, it's not bad. It's like going back to that example of jumping out the building. It's scary, but it's exhilarating. And like, it just,
I feel the rush.
Especially at times when we level up in our relationship, it's the best feeling in the world.
That's how you see that?
Yes.
I see that as every time we level up, it's like, I'm like, all right, I just escaped. No. And then I look and the field goes, ooh, and there's more tigers and fire rings I gotta jump through. And I'm like, damn.
Like the ding when you like pass the level, that's what that feels like to me. So like whenever we level up, you're in a bad mood and I'm in a great mood.
I be so pissed.
You be so, and I'm just like, why can't we be on the same? Like, why are we not on the same page here? But we leveled up, and it's just like, I have a new appreciation for our marriage as we level up. The climb sucks.
The climb to the level up.
The climb sucks. I just knew she was gonna go to you. Hi, baby. What's wrong? You can't sleep? You gotta sleep in your bed.
That melatonin is trash.
She's sweaty.
She hot?
Yeah, she wakes up when she's hot.
Damn.
Remember that day that she slept in her room? It's because I left it at 72. Did you put it back up to 73?
No. I don't think we're ever gonna finish one of these. I don't think we're ever gonna finish one of these. Alright, so look, my daughter just woke up. I'm about to put her back down to bed. Y'all got mad because the last one ended abruptly. Oops.
This one's gonna end up, it's midnight.
Sorry, y'all. I mean, like, we're not like a YouTube family. We're just a family that posts on YouTube. Yeah. So real life stuff happens. Let's continue this conversation.
Yeah, it's ongoing. All of these conversations.
Yeah, ask us some more in the comments. Like, this was dope. Thank you to everybody that submitted. I still don't think Noémie gave her list. What was on your list?
Okay, I'll say my list before we go. It was a very superficial. It was like, go to daddy.
Oh my baby.
Look at, you should see her mouth right now. So my list was tall, dark skin, nice teeth was on my list. Like attractive builds. Yeah, like I was that girl, like, you know, if you're like an 80s baby or like early 90s baby, remember like when we were really big on I want to date an intellectual thug. Yeah, I never grew out of that phase. That's what I wanted. I wanted somebody that understood like the way I grew up, the community that I grew up in, and kind of could hang and fit in with my family, but someone that I can also take around with me like professionally and blend into those
specific list.
But you know what? It was based off of guys that I've dated. I've dated guys that, you know, had the like, you know, PhD, JD, MBA, you know what I mean? Like on paper were amazing. Yeah, but they didn't really fit with my family. You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel right. And then I dated guys who weren't necessarily, you know, on my level academically. And, you know, bringing them into that kind of sphere was difficult. So like I wanted somebody who can easily navigate both those fields, because that's what I did. I wanted to find someone that was able to do it in the ways that I was able to do it. You know what I mean? Like, so we can grow together in that. And I feel like I got that exactly in you.
That's crazy.
Like I got that exactly in you. It wasn't until we were pregnant with E that Aurelie found the list, because it was a Microsoft Word document that we created. It was like her list on one side and my list on the other side. She found it and she sent it to me. She's like, look. And I'm like, yo, like I mapped you out. I asked God for you. That was my list. But the funny thing about it is that in my list I also put things like I want to marry somebody, maybe not marry, but I want to find a guy that'll push me to be a better person. So like you do. So, and I said this example to Kier before, and it was like, you know, at the end of year review, when you have with your manager, your supervisor, you have to talk about your weaknesses, and you're always trying to like figure out how to like put it in there, underhand it. And I feel like in my list, I was like, yeah, I want somebody that's gonna stretch me. I want somebody that's gonna push me to be a better person. I want somebody that's gonna like, you know, whatever, like basically make me better. Yeah, I got that too. So I feel like that's the gotcha that God did to me. It was like, yeah, I'm gonna give you everything that you want, but I'm gonna make you work for it. Oh, when you plan, God laughs. But we gotta go.
Yeah, you wanna close it out?
Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, here's your homework. Number 1. Ooh. Yeah, you see, check for understanding. Number 1. Our show, whatever this is currently called the Sit-Down Talk. Is it corny? Is it not? Would you rather us call it something different? We're open to suggestions. That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, if you have a question that we haven't answered and you want us to talk about it in the next Sit-Down vlog, type that in the comments. And question number 3, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, do it right now. I'm gonna give you a second. All right, thanks. But yes. So we will see you next week. We love you. Drink your water, mind your business.
Got your beeswax.
Try to be a good person today and every day.
Every day.
See you next week. Bye.